Let's dive right into this explainer. I want you to take a second and look around the room you're sitting in right now. There's an incredibly high statistical probability that almost everything you see, your computer, your furniture, even the clothes on your back, spent a few weeks floating on a massive container ship. Today, we're zeroing in on one of the absolute titans of that industry, COSCO Shipping. But we're not just looking at what they do. We're actually digging into their 2025 sustainability report to see how a company with such a colossal, heavy physical footprint is attempting to engineer a massive pivot toward environmental sustainability. It's a really fascinating look at what happens when heavy industry meets advanced software and green finance.
So, here's our voyage plan for today. We'll start by grasping the sheer scale of global shipping, move into the massive decarbonization challenge, and then break down their solution into three main pillars: powering green fleets, building smart digital supply chains, and finally, financing this green future. All right, Section 1, Scale of Global Shipping, the backbone of world trade. To really understand the sustainability challenge here, we first have to wrap our heads around COSCO's mind-boggling footprint. Consider this single number for a moment, 590. By the end of the reporting period, COSCO operates a self-owned fleet of 590 container ships. You know, this isn't just a fleet, it's practically a floating nation of steel. We're talking about vessels navigating 455 global routes, including over 300 international ones, and calling at 654 different ports across 146 countries. Out in the real world, these aren't just boats. They are quite literally the physical arteries of global trade. And it's not just the ships on the water. COSCO's port operations span 40 global ports with 387 berths. That represents a port handling capacity of 1.33 billion TEU, that's 20-foot equivalent units, every single year. The scale of this operation is frankly staggering. Which brings us to Section 2, the decarbonization challenge, shipping's heavy toll. This is the elephant in the room. How do you reconcile the environment with the massive fleet of giant fuel-burning ships? It really begs the ultimate question. How do you decarbonize a global giant? Seriously, how do you take an entire industry built on burning heavy fuel oil and flip it to net zero without totally breaking the global supply chain? Well, the pressure is absolutely on. The maritime sector currently pumps out roughly 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. But it's not just about some moral obligation to do the right thing. The rules of the game are changing rapidly. The International Maritime Organization has laid down aggressive 2050 net zero goals. On top of that, you have strict regulations like the FuelEU Maritime Initiative and the European Union Emissions Trading System, which are actively tracking emissions and slapping on hefty financial surcharges. It literally costs money to emit carbon now. So going green isn't just an environmental imperative anymore, it is a hardcore economic one. Let's move to Section 3, Powering Green Fleets, Hardware Innovations. This is the first pillar of COSCO's solution. How are they physically changing these massive ships and the fuel that powers them? COSCO Heavy Transport has laid out a highly structured, chronological three-step roadmap. Step 1, running up to 2025, is all about meeting strict efficiency designs using current tech, like hybrid contra-rotating propulsion. Step 2, from 2025 to 2030, is where it gets really interesting, introducing advanced power recovery systems, battery power, and even onboard carbon capture. Finally, Step 3, looking out to 2050, is the massive leap to true zero emissions, relying on hydrogen and ammonia as their primary fuels. But hey, they aren't just sitting around waiting for 2050 to roll around. Look at the immediate action happening right now. In the 2025 reporting period, COSCO burned through a staggering 417,545 tons of marine biofuels. The vast bulk of that was B24 biofuel, over 320,000 tons, alongside nearly 90,000 tons of B30 biofuel. That is a massive, tangible offset to their traditional carbon footprint, and it's happening today. The physical ships themselves are getting a massive upgrade too. COSCO is shining a spotlight on eco-vessels, like the Chang'an Co., which uses low-voltage selective catalytic reduction systems to drastically slash emissions. Even better, they've got 39 brand-new methanol dual-fuel container ships in the pipeline. That represents nearly 730,000 TEU of fresh, green shipping capacity. And as you can see, these aren't just theoretical engineering concepts living on a whiteboard somewhere. These are multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art eco-vessels cutting through the ocean right now, proving for sure that heavy maritime transport can actually change its DNA. On to Section 4, Smart Digital Supply Chains, the Software Solution. Hardware is really only half the battle.
Let's see how invisible algorithms are stepping up to optimize this physical network.
So the old way of shipping, extremely clunky. We're talking paper bills of lading, people manually tracking containers, and highly fragmented networks. The new way COSCO is rolling out is a totally different ballgame. They're jumping on the IQX blockchain for electronic bills of lading and deploying graph neural networks, which is a super advanced form of AI, to predict container shortages and optimize where empty boxes need to go. It's a complete shift from a messy physical network to a sleek digital ecosystem.
And the efficiency this unlocks is just unreal. During the reporting period, over 450,000 electronic bills of lading were issued on this blockchain platform. That technology took document transfer times from literally weeks down to mere hours. And, in logistics, time is obviously money, but time is also carbon. Faster routing and processing means less idle time for ships and trucks, which directly shrinks the overall carbon footprint. You can clearly see the software efficiency bleeding into their physical networks too. Take the Zhenghe train that launched in 2025. It's this incredible sea rail transport solution connecting southwest China directly to the Indian Ocean, completely bypassing the heavily congested Malacca Strait. That alone cuts transit time by 17 days, making the whole trip 50% faster. By using this one-box-to-the-end seamless transport model, they are vastly reducing the energy it takes to move goods across the continent. Which brings us to Section 5, Financing a Green Future, the economics of change. Because, let's be real, building futuristic ships and advanced AI routing platforms takes a mountain of capital. To fund this, COSCO Shipping Ports launched a dedicated green finance framework. And this isn't just fluffy corporate marketing jargon. It was actually verified by the Hong Kong Quality Assurance Agency to ensure it lines up with strict international green loan and bond principles. Basically, it guarantees that the capital raised goes directly and transparently into legitimate green and smart port projects. And the tangible impact of that money at work? Huge! Just look at the numbers from their port operations. Shore power connectivity, which lets ships plug into the local grid instead of burning dirty fuel while docked, hit 10 million kilowatt hours. They've installed 22 megawatts of clean energy capacity, generating over 24 million kilowatt hours. Plus, by electrifying their port equipment, they slashed liquefied natural gas use by over 1 million liters. This is green finance delivering real, measurable environmental returns. Finally, Section 6, the 2050 horizon. Let's pull all these threads together and look at where we're actually going. What we are witnessing here is a profound, industry-wide transformation. The massive, heavy steel scale of global shipping is being actively rewired by invisible software and green finance. Through huge biofuel adoption, bleeding-edge AI routing, and strict financial frameworks, COSCO is proving that even the most stubborn, carbon-intensive industries have a realistic pathway to a net-zero future. Which leaves us with a pretty compelling final thought. If the massive vessels that literally move the world's economy are rapidly upgrading their hardware, software, and fuels to hit net zero, how will the companies making the products inside those containers adapt to keep up? The global supply chain is turning green. It's only a matter of time before everything else is forced to follow suit. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I really hope this helped you see the massive, invisible network moving our world just a little bit clearer.